Welcome to Lupo's Kitchen. Today we are making a vegan mozzarella. So one of the big problems Lorelai has is she really misses pizza, and the sauces we have don't really work right. So we're gonna make something that's more like I would consider a pretty high amber food. In other words, we usually do our foods like green light, yellow light, red light. This is something you don't want to have too much because it's going to have nuts in it. Now, our stance on oils, because this is an oil-free channel, we avoid them while we're doing weight loss. But sometimes when you want a treat or maintenance, or you're just not worried about rapid weight loss, we might do a little nut recipe here or there. So this is one of those times. This is not something we would eat all the time because it would stall our weight loss and we wouldn't go anywhere. But this is something where she wants a pizza once a week, so that's how we're going to use this. If you have kids, worried about weight loss, they're in good shape, they're running around and riding their bikes or whatever, and nuts are healthy they're just not great for weight loss. So if you're in that kind of situation, you can eat all this all the time, or you can give this. It's so much better than regular cheese. So let's show you how to do it. It's pretty easy to make. So this is a smaller portion. In fact, we're kind of only doing half a recipe because we don't want to have the temptation of having this stuff around the house because
it's mostly for the kid. She asked for cheese. It's been 2 months.
I'm going to make
her some cheese.
All right, so what are our ingredients here and what are we doing?
So this is 3/4 of a cup of raw cashews that's been soaked for a couple hours. You don't have to soak them if you have a high-speed blender, but I think they just come out better.
Yeah, we're getting it right in the sunlight there, so that's why it's being all weird.
And then we will need 1 teaspoon of sea salt, but I'm using pink Himalayan salt. Then it calls for 3.5 tablespoons of tapioca flour and 1.5 teaspoons nutritional yeast and anywhere from 3 to 3.5 tablespoons of lemon juice and 3/4 cups of water. So very basic. Mix it in the blender and then we put it on the stovetop until it turns into a gooey ball.
So we drained the cashews and we're adding lemon. And remember, we are making half a recipe, so when we either double what we're putting in,
I'll put the real recipe in the comments, or in the description, whatever.
You got 2 tablespoons of lemon. Wow, you're not playing with the lemon. 3?
3.
Wow.
You can use more if you want. It actually takes quite a bit of lemon.
All right, a teaspoon of the salt.
Yep.
So how many of these?
This is 7 is the normal, so it'll be 3.5.
So a little side note and trivia about tapioca. If you did not know, tapioca is also cassava. They make it out of cassava, which is also known as yucca, but there are 2 types of yucca plants. There's a double C yucca and a single C yucca.
One is edible and one isn't, I think.
Yeah, one is a desert plant, and the other looks like a giant potato, tuber thing. They're all the same plant, and most of the tropical world lives on these things. They are a big staple food. If you're anywhere down south, you should grow them, because we are trying to grow them, but I'm not babysitting them as much as I need to.
So you can use it like a potato. It has almost no flavor. Picks up the flavor of anything you put it with.
And then nutritional yeast, which is how much?
3 teaspoons. I had the wrong thing.
And we love nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
Too much.
We eat this every day.
But it is loaded with a ton of B vitamins, so. And then I think you got to add water, and we're all.
I already added the water.
Oh, did you? In the beginning? How much did you put in? I forgot.
3/4 of a cup, just like the cashews.
Got it. So we are using our favorite scraper. If you haven't seen this before in a recipe, it is actually a blender scraper so you can get under the blades. We use this thing for everything.
Yeah, it's great.
So I'll link it in the description if you don't have one. They're pretty affordable and really useful. Lorelai has a tip about this.
So because it blows so much up on the sides and you can see there's like little chunks and grits you're supposed to get this as smooth as possible. So I usually, after the first run through, I scrape it and then do one more pass. And then it comes out silky smooth the way it's supposed to. So you need a bowl of cold water and you'll put ice in it right before you get ready to put the cheese balls in there.
All right, so you set this up before you start boiling everything down on the stove so it has time to cool.
Yeah, I have the ice ready to go. I just don't want to put it in because it's pretty warm here today.
Here's the cheese sauce, and what's surprising is it's white, like mozzarella. I thought it would be yellow, but it looks good. So what are we setting the heat to?
I am putting it on 6 medium heat. You don't want to let it burn, but it does need to come up to a boil. I need smaller burner. And you just stir it the whole time, and eventually it will start to, like they call it, curdle, kind of.
Yeah.
Curds up, and
Congeal.
it gets all gooey and gets congealed.
All right, we'll come back in a few minutes. So it has been about 5 minutes, and you can see it's starting to congeal now.
It's getting lumpy and clumpy and weird looking, but it's supposed to do that.
How long do you go like this?
It will form up into one big ball. You just want to make sure it doesn't burn. So if it feels like if you're starting to see like brown spots, or if it's sticking to the bottom of the pan, you want to turn your heat down. But so far we're so good.
All right. We'll come back when you're playing with the ball.
Yep.
Well, that didn't take long. That was only like 20 seconds. Should have just left it going, but it is starting to
It goes fast.
turn into the ball. I see this now.
It's not quite firm enough, but it's getting very close.
This is, all right. Asmar moment again. We always have one of these, it seems like. Just gonna listen to the ball grow. Oh, I see it now.
See, now it's the ball. And remove from heat. Grab the ice.
So we're gonna put the ice in the water. I don't know why I needed to film this, but I felt the need.
Ice water. And you're supposed to take however big of a glob you want. And it's just supposed to slide off into the water.
Oh, look at that, it works.
Yeah.
That's Italian, look. It's a mozzarella. Here we go.
So these cheeses you get to store in the fridge. They'll store it for a week in water jarred, like an enclosed jar.
You would store them in water.
Yep. And I've seen places say that you store them in a brine, like a salt water, but I think you can just store them in plain water too, and it's fine.
All right, well, you guys get the idea. We'll come back in a minute. That's impressive. It really tastes like
It's
it, and
very cheesy.
it's very cheap. I'm surprisingly shocked by this. That is really close.
So you can slice this up and eat it cold, like regular mozzarella, or you can put it on pizzas or bruschetta. We don't eat any of that kind of stuff because it usually involves oil.
It's, you know, this stuff's really expensive to buy at the store, and it's always going to have oils added to it. Like, I don't think there's anything that's a pure nut cheese out there. They always have some junk in it. So it's a great way to control that. I'm pretty excited to see how this comes out.
The best one I found has nothing but coconut oil in it, but that's still pretty.
Yeah, it's still not good for weight loss. How long do you let them sit before someone can start nibbling on them?
So they say let this sit for 30 minutes in the fridge.
And that's it. And you can see they expanded. This stuff grew. It's pretty good. So these have cooled about these have cooled about an hour, and we are going to test one.
Going to pat it dry and try. So you're supposed to be able to cut these. We will see. Well, it kind of cuts like mozzarella. Just squishes and
Curious how this will melt on a pizza. I think you probably have to put it on the last minute or two. Well, I don't know. It might do.
it's pretty cold. And we usually only, put like a little bit of veggies. If you're just doing like a cheese pizza, you could totally just put it on.
Yeah, I remember. So my dad's Italian, and he's like a pizza snob, an Italian snob, and he would all the time get like real wedge of mozzarella and cut it up in little slithers and put it all over a pizza.
When I still ate Cheez-Its, I got the kind that was
Like
stored
you've
in
never
water
had.
like this, and
The shredded stuff, even.
well, they put sawdust in it.
Oh, I've heard that rumor. I notice it's not labeled, but
It's food grade sawdust. It's fit for human consumption.
yeah, that always tricked me out that you can have food grade plastic. That you can those little microplastics they can put in food, and if you guys didn't know that, some of those cheeses have plastic in them, but it's okay. The FDA says they're fine. It's fine.
So I'm gonna try a piece, see if it's any good.
All right.
It tastes like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar.
The texture isn't quite cheesy. It's got kind of a doughy, but it would melt fine and be good.
All right, let's try to melt this and see what happens. We'll show you this in our pizza recipe coming up. We air fried this for about 5 minutes. We'll see how this goes. I guess if we wanted a pizza, we'd probably cut these a little thinner, lay them out, but we didn't add anything to this to make it a pizza because we just want to see what it tastes like with just the cheese.
All right.
All right, we're going to try a sample of this. Nomsies. See what it tastes like here. Melted good. It tastes different. Hot.
Yeah, it's much different once you warm it up.
It's a lot more cheesy warm. Yeah, I think you could totally make this into a pizza.
So on those occasions I crave pizza, and I have a cheese that doesn't have seed oils in it or other oils.
Nothing in here. The worst thing that's in here is a lemon. You had to put a-
Cashews.
Yeah, the cashews. But
So fattening, this is definitely an amber food that is a very once in a while thing for me. But
tasty though. Yeah, I forgot how much I like nuts.
I will say that I added salt on top of it, a little seasoning, just for flavor. It is a little bland, but if you had it on with pizza, it'd be great.
Yeah. So we will make a pizza video for you. All we did was air toast this on corn tortillas, but basically pizza sauce and toppings, and that's it.
Yep. Oh, I will say I did add the nutritional yeast that I put in, the 3 teaspoons, was for the full recipe, not the half recipe. But I wouldn't change it.
I think it makes it cheesier.
We always use way more.
Well, it's delicious. So again, if you were to have it, we went a little light on the salt, so maybe salted if you want it.
Yeah, it's not salty at all.
Tastes different cold. Like it's a little more textured. When you eat it, it tastes like cheese, but the texture's off.
It's like it tastes like a dough.
Yeah, it's a little off. It's still good. But when you heat it, it really tastes like cheese. So it's a lot closer.
And I wanted it for pizzas, and that's it. So that's all I
would
care
say
about.
this is a win.
I would say so. Simple, easy. All in all, it took like 15 minutes to make. The cleanup was pretty simple.
Yeah, this is good. I think it's going to work. Thanks for hanging with us. I think this is worth trying, especially if you have, like we have a kid that really just is craving more of a... Mainly I just make cheese sauce and throw it on everything, but if you want like a real piece of cheese, this worked. It worked pretty good. And we have variations of this. Yeah, I think we could also maybe make a camembert cheese, but without the oil in it. Because I do like the rosemary taste, and it's a nice. There's different variations of this I think we could do, and we'll add those as we go. So hopefully you guys are enjoying this channel. Again, we're just making this for fun. We appreciate any feedback or comments, and we hope you guys are eating healthy. Stay in there and drop those pounds with us. See you in the next recipe.